With more than 1 billion downloads, Node.js is a free open source platform for executing JavaScript code on the server side, gaining increasing popularity in our technology driven world. Node.js brings significant programming benefits to developers because it is easy to learn, has high performance, and allows developers to use the same language for both front end and back end development. Using Node.js, you can directly interface with InterSystems IRIS data platform through the native API. Note that the native API for Node.js is cross-platform, which means you can run Node.js code in Windows, Mac, and Linux Ubuntu. In this video, we will cover an example of the benefits of using the native API and explore some more examples of how it can be used in a Node.js application. The first major benefit of the native API is its ability to expose the underlying architecture of InterSystems IRIS, known as globals. Globals provide applications with direct access, foregoing typical relational or object-oriented access if those models don't give you the flexibility or performance you need. Globals are named, multidimensional arrays that are stored within physical InterSystems IRIS databases. They are the fundamental storage structure used in InterSystems IRIS for data. If you aren't familiar with globals, you may wish to review the Globals Quick Start. Another benefit of the native API is its ability to expose core InterSystems ObjectScript functionality, such as running InterSystems class methods or routines from your Node.js application. In the example in this video, you will see several ObjectScript equivalent actions being executed using Node.js code and the native API. Before looking at an example of using the native API with Node.js, it is important to note that directly accessing and manipulating globals in InterSystems IRIS comes with certain restrictions, specifically the lack of data validation and conversion. However, using the native API does give you fast and direct access to your data in InterSystems IRIS. Let's take a look at an example of the Node.js application connecting to InterSystems IRIS and use the native API to access globals, class methods, and routines. This sample application will set, retrieve, and print prices for several different products. Note that you need to install the native API for Node.js module to connect your application to InterSystems IRIS. You can find this module within your InterSystems IRIS installation directory. From that directory, navigate to the dev/node.js folder. If you do not have InterSystems IRIS installed in your local machine, you can find this module in the InterSystems GitHub repo. After installation, you should import InterSystems IRIS native into your application. Before you can do anything with the globals, methods, and routines in InterSystems IRIS, you need to connect your Node.js application to that instance. To do this, you will need to create a valid connection. As you can see here, the connection includes a few key pieces of information, such as the IP, port, namespace, username, and password. Once you have created a connection, you must create a native object to use as your point of connection to the instance of InterSystems IRIS. With your connection created and a native object ready to use, you can now access and manipulate globals in InterSystems IRIS using the native API. In this code, you are setting 3 nodes of a product global with the current prices for a few different products. Then you are getting the price of one of those products and printing it out. Notice that this is done by calling set and get methods from the native object you just created. The equivalent code in ObjectScript for setting and getting the product global is shown here. Next, you can iterate over the product global. Using the native API, you can create an iterator to be used in a for loop. This allows you to get the value of each node in a global. In the equivalent ObjectScript code, the $order function is used on the product global. Finally, you can use the native API to call InterSystems IRIS class methods and routines. This Node.js code uses the %library.utility class to call the date method, returning the current date. Looking at the ObjectScript equivalent, you can see that the Node.js code is rather intuitive, with the arguments aligning to the method call in ObjectScript. By running this code, you can see that it successfully manipulates the product global as intended. If you are familiar with the structure of your InterSystems IRIS globals, and you are looking to improve the performance of your Node.js application by directly accessing and manipulating those globals, the InterSystems IRIS native API for Node.js unlocks the potential to do so.